I'll give you another example, because the judiciary is not just the court system, it's the prison system, it's the police system. In terms of if you want to get justice, there's what we call virtual hearing that is taking place currently in Lagos State that is decongesting the courts, and I think in the last few months, more than several inmates that have been incarcerated, they were able to access justice through the virtual hearing system. What would have been delayed because of the physical and logistical challenges, because they cannot take them to court. So Lagos State has introduced that. I think Delta State and a lot of things are happening that is great with the Nigerian judicial system. Am I saying it is El Dorado? Am I saying everything is as it should be? No, but there's a lot of hard work that the judicial system is putting on. We have just how many courts in Lagos State? How many? We have like 151 magistrates, maybe 75 to 80 judges, and we have 22 million people. So there's a lot that is on the judiciary, and there's a lot that we need to do as citizens to be able to make that happen.
You know, there are a lot of things that we talk about the judiciary. Let me start with the issue of delay in justice delivery. Due to the fact that we have very few courts serving the millions of Nigerians, and also few judges and what have you. But also someone say even the lawyer themselves, that is the bar. Sometimes they go to court, put some all manner of frivolous motions to delay some cases. And I said the NBA is not acting enough to discourage such practice by some lawyers. I'll give you an instance. Sir. A former governor in the South had the case in the UK. He wanted a delay. He told his lawyer in UK that he should put some delay here and there. And the lawyer told him, if he did that in the UK, and in the end he's found guilty and all that he will be forced to pay for those delays, and he will be reported to the lawyer's body over there. They will sanction him. But we don't have it here in Nigeria.
We do currently.
But it's not effective.
No, you know, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Both the citizens, the civil society, and the media, like what we're doing this morning, it's part of contributing our quota. In the last 2 weeks, the Supreme Court handed a 50 million fine to a lawyer, and that he will not be allowed to practice anywhere in Nigeria until that sum is paid. And because the judicial system is not just the courts, it's not just the judges, it's not just the lawyers, it's not just the litigants, it's also even the citizens. And even if you want to backtrack, the law schools, the university, because the way the law system is designed, it must give us the best and brightest. If you listen to some judgment, or you read some judgment of Justice Oputa, you'll be so excited because of the robustness of the content of those judgments. And the reason is he first studied economics before he studied law, before he became a judge. So he has the body of knowledge is so expanded that when you bring any commercial cases before him, he has the vocabulary to be able to not only distill the issue, but articulate what needs to be done. So we need to do a lot of investment as a government in how people become lawyers. And we need to also do a lot as a people. Look at the security in Lagos State, for example. You know, there's a security trust fund. Beyond what the government is putting down, that is ensuring that the private sector is contributing their quota in ensuring that the state is secure. The same way, we need to move beyond the blame game and ensure that there is also a trust fund for lack of a better word, for the judiciary, so that the best and brightest can be in the schedule of the system. Because until we have our best and brightest on all structure, we're just going to be complaining, and there's no Nobel laureate for complaining. You only win laurels for providing solution.
Now, I'm happy you mentioned the late Justice Puta.
Nikki
Toby,
yes.
all of them, their judgments then.
Yes.
When you read, I'm not a lawyer, but I read some of their judgments. You see philosophy there, you see classics, all manner of things in there, to the extent that even in UK universities, they used to cite judgment from Nigeria. They say, but today, that is no more. Because the quality had depreciated in Nigeria. Some deliberately because maybe corruption or whatever. And so nowadays, when you read some judgments, even people like me who are not lawyers would know that something is wrong. For instance, a few weeks ago, Court of Appeal gave an order asking a lower court to suspend hearing in a case. It was reported. But this judge still went ahead to give judgment. And in response to that, Court of Appeal said that was judicial rascality. Where will the NJC come in? People are saying the NJC now today is complicit. It doesn't take the issue of discipline of judges seriously. That's how they misbehave nowadays.
So just like I said, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. We need to ensure that our best and brightest are positioned in places of authority. We need to ensure that the recruitment system of justice and the training of judges and magistrates, we play a priority on them. Because if we are not doing, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you are not giving and the current judges, just like I said initially, they are doing their level best. I'm not just trying to play to the gallery. It's an amazing, it's a stretchy job, it's a thankless job, for lack of a better word. For example, do you know it's just this year that the judges' remuneration just elevated? Do you know currently a magistrate earns 300,000 naira? So if a magistrate that is superintending over a plethora of cases is going to earn a 300,000 naira at the end of the month, and you want him to give his best and brightest, some of them are potting, some of them are jackpine in the current lingua. So what we need to do is an holistic system. The Nigerian Judicial Council, if you know how many judges has been suspended because of those, the numbers are there. Currently, I'm working with a couple of people to push out the right side of the law, the right side of what is really taking place. We were at the 71st anniversary of Ikoyi prison last week, when the Chief Judge of Lagos State, Honorable Justice Kazeem Olarewojo Aloba, spoke articulately on a number of reforms that is taking place. And some of these reforms is ensuring that there is decongestion within the court system, which is what I spoke about, the virtual hearing. I mean, I need the Attorney General of the Federation, for example, to put a call through to Mr. Musbah Famuyiwa of Global TNT that has revolutionized the Lagos State Criminal Information System, and that is ensuring that we now have the data of everybody that is committing crime in Lagos State. We now have the data of the hotspots in Lagos State. If you see the governor or you see the Attorney General rolling out data, there are people behind the scene doing the hard work, ensuring that we are, because if you don't have data, how do you make informed decisions to be able to change and improve the system? So what I want to say is that the criminal justice system, to a large extent, we have the piloted solution in Lagos State, and I think Delta State is also implementing it. So we need to invest in the best and brightest people, and then we need to invest in the best and brightest solutions that will advance the cause of justice.
You mentioned Lagos State, for instance. I think Lagos is always ahead when it comes to judicial reforms. started from the days of the former vice president when he was commissioner for justice here.
Yes.
Yemi Osibajo.
Yes.
He's always ahead. I'm happy you mentioned that. Other states should just emulate what they've done or what they are doing. You also alluded to the issue of the recruitment system.
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, people are saying that recruitment is now influenced by politicians. Even now, you hear of daughters and sons of senior lawyers, senior justices, senior people in society, wives of politicians, now being appointed as judges. Even the issue of training, no matter how the training you have received, or how equipped you are, if you are corrupt, you forget about your training. So, but let's talk about the issue of recruitment. How do we ensure that the best are recruited? Or elevated from lower court to the higher court?
Okay, it's a simple system. Harvard is not the best school in the world, but it's the best school in terms of the recruitment process. Mm-hmm. So when you have a recruitment process that takes cognizance of your track record, not just when you become a magistrate or a judge, but from the university, what you did in the law school. So you have to backtrack. You know, in order to go forward, sometimes you need to go backward. You know, so you need to be able to backtrack and do who are these people, and the judiciary, particularly the media, you have a major role to play in ensuring that a lot of some of the things we're trying to do, because the judiciary, you know, they can't speak for themselves. Regardless of what, they can only give justice, they cannot execute what is being done. We're doing some things in impacting the next generation where we're trying to break down the law in such a way that a primary school student can understand it. It's called the super judge. And we're doing a novel for the secondary school student so that you break the laws down in a digestible form in a way that they can understand. So when they understand it, because we meet a lot of people in the criminal justice system, they didn't even know the crime they have committed. They didn't know that this crime exists. So we're using story format, we're doing a lot of things to ensure that the citizens understand first. Then the recruitment of the just it starts from the university, even starts from the primary school, from the secondary school. So we need to understand there's a holistic process that is required. Currently, also we're working with some tech guys to do what we call Learned. Learned is a system that is an application that shows that when you have any crisis, it's going to operate like an Uber. So when you have any crisis, you talk to the system, the lawyers around, the NGOs around, the police stations around, is triggered in such a way that justice is not only done, but is timely done. Justice is not only done, but is speedily done, because justice delayed is justice denied, and justice rushed is justice crushed. So you need to maintain a balance in ensuring that while the recruitment is good, the citizens need to be enlightened on their right and responsibility for us to forge a great nation.
You just answered my question. I was going to come to that, because the question is, do Nigerians know their rights? Does the average Nigerian know that if I get into a fight or whatever it is, an aggravated fight, assault, what should I do? What does the law state? Because the average Nigerian can be very intimidated. How many hours should a Nigerian spend in a police station, or should, at what point do I get a lawyer? Now, also backtrack to the conversation of what I said. Does the common man, because you find people who do petty crimes go to jail for 10 years and they've not been able to see a judge, and they're put in prison for years without awaiting trial. So that's my question. The common man, is there truly hope for the common man when it comes to the law system and how it's being manipulated at the expense of wealthy and rich individuals? Okay,
so there is a dignified Nigerian. I will still not call any Nigerian a common man. Now, in the last few years, I understand. You know, I spoke about Mr. Musba Famuyiwa and the what Global TNT New Solution is doing. They go to
correctional center.
to the correctional center to vet who is actually there. Can I shock you?
Yeah.
There are people who don't want to leave the correctional center. There are people who avoid when you call out their name, and you know, can I also shock you? When Lagos was, the entire Nigeria is 64 million people, and in 1960, the same number of prison is the same number of prison that we have. The same capacity. So that's why I'm saying the private sector must get involved. There is what we call corporate political responsibility is being practiced abroad, because we just mouth what's happening abroad. Why can it not be implemented? There is a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of work to be done. So I mean, we go to the correctional center and vet who is in the correctional center and who is not. Let me show you another case that happened currently, because there's a part of the system that didn't want someone to enter prison. They pretended they brought an ambulance and all of those stuff, but eventually we've discovered that the person was not sick. And they staged a scenario, and the DPP is aware of this, the Director of Public Prosecution. And I also need to let you know they are overworked within every district needs a prosecutor. We need to be able to fund it. So, which is why I'm asking that the private sector, because law is the foundation of business and every other thing that you're going to do. If you don't prioritize it like security, in fact, law even governs security. Because if you do not have the rule of law, then you are not going to be able to implement the security that is required, because they need to work under the ambit of law. So I'm appealing to Nigerians that we need to participate. I'm contributing my quota. I'm volunteering. I volunteered in the last 15 years with Women Arise for Change Initiative led by Dr. Joe K. Odumaki. Pro bono. I'm volunteering with Global TNT New Solutions to be able to. So we need to create an army of volunteers that will understand the court system, and lawyers need to play their role. One of my goals is no lawyer left behind. We should never have a charge and bail lawyer within our court system. Again, do you know that we have some serious shorties, people that those shorties for several people, but we have also captured that within the system, so that whenever you appear, the magistrate will know that you are a serious shorty. So there's a lot that is being done, but that requires, and finally I would like to say that, do you know, sir, that the ROLAC, Rule of Law, Anti-Corruption, and the external institution globally, they are contributing more to judiciary reform in Nigeria than the private sector and the people. So I would suggest that whether religious organization, because pastors are quick to quote that the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, and is our king. Let them contribute. Let there be let the people indirectly contribute to the judicial system, so that we can now hold both the government and the judges and the judiciary to account.
You earlier said that, of course, justice delayed, justice denied. And that our criminal justice system needs to be reformed for speedy trial of suspected criminals. Even in the commercial law now, same thing is happening. To the extent that I understand that nowadays, if you had to engage in an international contract now, you read to businesses, the foreign investors will say that, will put a clause there that in case of any dispute, they will have the right to institute the case in a foreign court, because they are more or less lost confidence in the courts in Nigeria. So then what can we also do to ensure that more people embrace the ADR, alternative dispute resolution mechanism?
So law is the foundation of commerce. If there is no trust, just like you mentioned, in the judicial system, I'm not going to put my money down. So part of the reform that needs to take place, for example, is the land use reform, Land Use Act. When you vest the land in a political office holder, which the court has time and time again frown at and give judgment against the why not going against the Constitution, but the judicial activism through lawyers coming to court, through the likes of what Ganifa Emi and a lot of people did. They are trying to correct that system, because if I can register if I can buy a land and it will take me 3 years to be able to do the registration,
You'll be discouraged.
yes. If people need to loan money from bank and banks will take 3 years to perfect, so how will commerce be taking place? Yeah. So we need, that's why I'm saying that the judiciary, which is the foundation of the nation, which is the foundation of security, we need to pay attention to funding it from directly, so that it is not the executive that give money to the judiciary. It must be funded from the revenue mobilization. The revenue mobilization committee must ensure that from FAC there is the line of funding. Yes, first charge. So when we fix that, then the private sector must understand that they will not be able to function in a business environment without the judiciary. So they need to, just like institutions abroad, from the like of Dangote Foundation, foundations within the nation must put funds behind a lot of to the judiciary, because when you do that, you are guaranteed that your business interactions and your business decision, foreign direct investment, they will have confidence. Without them having confidence, they will have to put such clauses. They will have to put such clauses.
I don't know what I will see, Hassan. This last one coming from me. There have been this suggestion many years ago that we should separate the office of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, also at the state level. One should be political, while the other one should just be professional. I don't know if you have any response to that.
That's what happens globally. We need to, but for that to happen, you need a constitutional amendment. And for that constitutional amendment to happen, there are only 3 ways constitutional amendment happens. Number 1, by the executive themselves. Number 2, by the judiciary. Then number 3, by the people. Which is what I'm saying, when there are funds allocated for judicial activism, you will be able to galvanize and prepare. While protest is good, but look at Libya. What has happened to Libya? Look at where all the Arab Spring and no spring had happened. It does not solve problem on the long run. So we need a think tank. We need a funding that guarantees that we can now push for a constitutional amendment that separates both the office of the Attorney General, because the Attorney General serves the nation. The Minister of Justice serves the President. So if you separate the offices, then you now create like 109 district attorneys. You understand what I'm saying? That are empowered to be. That's why a district judge in the U.S. can put an embargo on Donald Trump, and he will need to go to the Court of Appeal to be able to undo what a magistrate has done, because they put emphasis in the local environment. So we need to be able to, in order to, we don't compare oranges and apples. If you want to experience what is taking place abroad, we need the required resources, so that we can attract our best and brightest and give them the autonomy to be able to work, so that we build a nation that is worthy of the dignified Nigerian.
You're right. Even in the US, as you mentioned, I've seen where even judges appointed by Donald Trump ruled against him.
Completely.
And just yesterday,
if
I did share citizens' birthright citizenship, even at the Supreme Court of the US, even judges he appointed, some of them ruled against him. 6-3.
Yes, there is a judge in Lagos State that has ruled, I won't mention, that has ruled against Lagos State because she followed the law. So we have incorruptible judges. We have an exciting judiciary. I'm not trying to. They are working. They themselves to the bones. They just need everybody to put them on their toes. Because even the people that are doing the great work still need to be put under their toes.
We need to go. Thank you so much, Christian Lover. It's nice to get the perspective on how best we can navigate the murky waters of the judiciary and how actually Nigerians can truly be free as it were. Thank you so much for coming on the show and doing justice to the conversation. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking more on News Hub. Stay with us.